What was the thing that made you decide that, man, something's got to change?
I was exhausted, man. Every winter I would sleep like a bear. I'd hibernate because I worked my butt off 80 hours a week, and I felt like I could never get caught up. I always felt like I was in my eyeballs of work, and I knew that it could be better.
Welcome to the PainterGrowth podcast, where we help you scale your painting company in record time. Join us as we explore sales, marketing, hiring, finances, leadership, and more, everything that you need to know to scale and grow your painting business. I hope you enjoy and subscribe.
So, hey, Tony, why don't you start by just introducing yourself?
So my name's Tony Esposito. I'm the owner of Espositos Painting Services. We've been in business fully for 13 years, but more seriously about 11 years. First couple of years was Mickey Mouse.
And where are you based?
We're based in just outside Toronto, Georgetown, Ontario. We serve the whole GTA, like from west end of Toronto all the way to basically Stony Creek, pretty far.
Awesome. So tell me a little bit about your business before you found out about PainterGrowth.
I wore 13 hats, maybe 14. I pretty much did everything from sales, marketing, scheduling, paint ordering, staff, payroll, admin, everything, man. And painted 48 hours, 50 hours a week.
Yeah. And what was revenue like at that time?
We went from a couple 100,000 up to about a little over 800,000 before we joined PainterGrowth.
Yeah. And just in general, if you kind of think back to that time, how did you feel about your business at that time?
I felt we were doing well from an execution standpoint, but we needed a lot of work on what I call BOH, back of house, all the admin, all the SOPs, all the systems. I was flying by the seat of my pants.
Yeah. What did you feel was the biggest thing that you needed help with at the time? Or what was the thing that made you decide that, man, something's got to change?
I was exhausted, man. Every winter I would sleep like a bear. I'd hibernate because I worked my butt off 80 hours a week, and I felt like I could never get caught up. I always felt like I was in my eyeballs of work, and I knew that it could be better.
Mm-hmm. You just saw other businesses doing better, and you're like, hey, there's no reason why I can't be like that.
Absolutely, man. And some of your stuff that I saw, some podcasts I was listening to over the last 18, 24 months, I just knew there was ways to do things better.
Yeah. So what did you think of the first time you saw one of our ads or podcast episodes?
I felt, I'm going to be 100% honest here, I felt you were genuine, you cared, and you wanted to make a difference in the industry. And that's kind of what I want too. I want the industry to be a better industry for all of us. That's part of the problem.
Yeah. So tell me about your process, like just having a call with my team and learning more about that. What was that whole process like?
Yeah. So I followed you for a year. Then I made the decision to join. I didn't join immediately because of my personal choices. I believe one of your guys, I forget his name, Brian. Can you correct me if I'm wrong?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. He reached out to me. Great call. Mike, I'll be honest. I was bought before he even had to say a word. I'm like, I'm good. He didn't even have to tell me a price, man. It wasn't even a sale for you guys. Like I wanted it, I needed it, and I knew that you guys could help me.
Yep. Oh, that's awesome. Those are the easiest ones.
Yeah, I'm easy, man.
Yeah. Yeah. They say the best salespeople are the easiest to be sold.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, I believe that too. So you get started, your business is a mess. Like, I guess one question is, if you were already working 80 hours a week, how did you feel like you had time to add something on like this?
Well, I did it in the winter. That was always my strategic plan. My thought process was always improve the business in slower season, right? Volume goes down by 15 to 25%, depending on who you are and those relationships that you have. So I knew in 2023 that I was going to do it January 2024, no matter what. I was finding a coach. So that gave me a few months to really hone in on everything. And I was spending 30, 40 hours a week on fixing the business and roughly 20 hours a week running the business. I was not working on the tools pretty much at all.
Yeah. So out of all the different, business coaches out there, what made you land on PainterGrowth?
You, truthfully, we call you the legend, me and my business partner, right? So your ads are great. Again, it seems like you care. You want us to improve. You're in this for us, not the end result, which is, obviously make a little bit of money, right? So
Cool. And I appreciate that. And I'm glad that comes through. Tell me about when you got started. What was the first couple of weeks like?
So at first I was a little squirrely. I was a little like, I didn't realize as I was going through the material, all your, training modules, I realized some of it I sort of pretty much know. And I still went through it all. And I realized after a little bit working with Dan, as we got into Dan one-on-one, I didn't need to go through everything. And then I started prioritizing. So at first I was a little wasteful with my time, learning, figuring it out. But the biggest impact, and I think I've told you this throughout the call or like in other things, is like the limiting beliefs video, man. That was me in a nutshell. Like, I thought I was better than everybody. I thought I didn't need to put out lawn signs. I thought I didn't need to do that. I thought that was for losers, really, to be truthful. That was my mindset. I'm like, I'm better than them. I don't need to do that. So it was very impactful the first couple of weeks. It completely shifted my mind.
Yeah. That's interesting. Actually, we just redid that video too. I don't know if you saw the new one.
I'll get more into the material as we get into September. Right now, it's absolutely crazy.
Go time, middle of July. It's just like, let's get it done, especially as a Canadian business in the summer.
Yep.
Finally through the rainy season.
Yep.
Cool. So you jumped in January, you kind of got your feet wet, started your one-on-ones with Dan. What structurally happened to your business over the rest of those winter months, January through May?
So we incentivized the work before we joined PainterGrowth, which is a lot of what you talked about. We do a bonus structure. They get their base pay and a bonus opportunity. That improved the production. Then we implemented some SOPs, job site marketing, which is some of the stuff that you brought into play. Lawn sign, flyering the neighborhoods with the door hangers. And then with Dan, we built a 5-step like system of talking to the client about referrals, like from the quote to the setup of a job to now we have a cue card that says we love our referrals, to when we invoice, it says our greatest compliment is an opportunity to work for your friends and family, something like that. I forget exactly what it says, but all these little things took a little time, but man, the leads started pouring in by May by just making some of these changes.
So why don't you think that you were able to make those changes? Like, saying that some of the training, you went through, you already knew it. Why don't you feel like you're able to make those changes on your own? Why did you need a coach to do that, to help you with that stuff? Didn't
know any better, and limiting beliefs and accountability. And someone to bounce ideas off, Mike, as like you say in some casts as well, is it's lonely sometimes, right? I have a business partner. We collaborate in commercial, but he has less experience than I, and he's fantastic. He brings a lot to the table, but I'm more of like, I am more business savvy as a whole for not reading a business book, not going to school for business, any of those things. But I had so much to learn. And I feel like I grasped more in those 4 months than I did in 10 years through experience.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. Yeah. Our like updated vision, we haven't shared it yet, but part of it is I'm going to share it on a podcast episode at some point, but, it's first of all, recognizing the huge discrepancy in business, in the business skills in the painting industry. Like the average painting business owner is high school educated or less, no formal business training. And now you're expected to run a 7-figure business. Like
it's different, man. I'm educated. I have a phys ed degree. I fell into this trade. I love it. I'm not doing it because of the money. I do it because I love it. But fixing the business was like the biggest thing for myself, for my family, and for the people that work for me. Yeah.
So we're trying to close that gap, one business at a time. There's a lot of businesses to do.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. Now, how did, so you ramped up in spring, you did training in the winter. How has this summer and production season gone compared to, I know you produce all year, but like, how has this year gone compared to last year?
So we have our biggest month in July that we've ever had. Our biggest month year to date, like up until this year, was 80,000. And that was very hard for us at that time. This month we're doing 128,000. So we're projected to do over 100 in August. And then September depends. I have a few projects might or might not be ready. So it depends.
Yeah.
So it's a lot.
How's this year going to shape out compared to last year?
We'll beat our sales by about 250,000, I would think. And we had a tough February, March, or like late February to early April. It was really tough for about a 6-week window. We slumped, but we had commercial work and we kept our guys busy, but it wasn't very profitable for me.
Yep.
So
Yeah. But looking to beat your last year revenue by over
yeah,
400,000.
yeah, we'll beat it. And the real goal, Mike, was to fix the business year, not to grow the sales significantly. Yeah. My goal was to stage to go to 1.2, 1.4 next year.
Yeah.
And fix
it's all about, yeah, if you fix it structurally, the sales become a lot easier.
Correct. That's what I did. We worked on recruiting system, sales system. The only thing left that I need to work on is a production management role and system and how to do that. And that'll be done in the fall for next year.
And so how do you feel operationally now? Does it feel smoother? Do you find yourself still working too many hours?
Well, this month I am, due to the burst. I'm working a little more than I'd like to, but in the last 6 months up until this month, I only worked maybe 80 hours the whole time on the tools.
Yeah.
So I've focused in, I've really cleaned up a lot of stuff. Communication is way better. We use Slack, basically. We have channels for every job. We have a communication board of tips and tricks, motivation. Everything is so organized. My site visits are very limited, but I go if I'm required. And I have someone that helps me manage that as well.
Has your team noticed?
Yes. Yeah, they're all like, the culture is definitely improved. We had a good culture before. I always threw parties and Christmas parties and things like that. But it is getting much leaner and cleaner, and everybody's making a little more money. And less touches on their personal time. My biggest thing is I have a family. I don't want to contact them after 5. So we use that channel. And if it's after 5, you don't have to respond. If I send you a text, that means it's urgent. We have very strict policies to give everybody their own time and their own space.
Yeah. That's awesome. And how's your family responding to this changes in your business and your habits?
So I have a little more time for my kid, which is nice. We are doing astronomy now. No clue how to do it yet. It's pretty frustrating, but we just started a couple days ago. And then I have more time to go to the movies, things like that. I still have about 10 to 12 hours to gain, which we hired an office admin. So they start in August. That'll free up a little more time. And they'll gain more time with the role as we grow. And my wife notices a difference. I'm a little less stressed, a little less short-tempered. I'd never yell, but you can always sense when I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. Absolutely. And I guess just in general, like, how do you, now that you've gone and you started working on all these structural things, how do you feel about the future of your business compared to how you felt a year ago?
I feel like a few more good months of little tweaks of a few things, and we're going to just attack, man. I'm going to go after it. Like, I still decline some leads right now because I want to fix things, and I don't want to I could do 180,000 in sales. I really can. But I want it to be a certain way because we do have a brand and a reputation. So I don't want it to skyrocket too fast. But I'm basically preparing to explode this business.
Yeah.
And really have a healthy system for everybody, not just me. The people that work for me, I want them to be successful. I want them to make money.
Yeah. So you were doing, 800K or so before. Now you're growing, you're more organized. What would you say to someone else kind of in that similar around $1 million range who feels like they know it all and don't feel like they need a coach at that point because they've made it already?
No, call me. Call me, man. It's a no-brainer, Mike. It is simple math. 1 + 1 is 2. All these athletes, all these professional singers, they have voice coaches, they have this coach, nutritionist, whatever it may be. You need help. You don't know everything. You can read every book, but you still can't grasp all the knowledge. The one-on-one coaching has changed everything. Plus your program, don't get me wrong. All that stuff, limiting beliefs, the systems, the marketing, all those items are great. But having accountability and just saying, like, here's what you did. This is where you need to be. You hit this, you missed this. Let's work on that. I don't have anybody to do that with, right? So the coach one-on-one helps you do that.
Yeah. And how about people who say, yeah, but you're not going to get coached by Mike?
Yeah, you're involved, man. You're involved. If people, you're on the calls, you're not my coach one-on-one, but I feel like you oversee the whole thing. You're the orchestrator, right? Just like we as business owners orchestrate our business. You can't hit
the one on the tools.
Yeah, you can't do everything. I don't even know how you do it, to be honest, but good for you. I couldn't do what you do.
Holding it together.
Yeah. Technologically, man, you have a lot of ability to do a lot of these things like charts, and I don't know how to do any of that stuff.
That's why you're here. You're learning. I've had a lot of like some business owners have come in and they're like, oh, I don't know how to use Excel. Well, you're about to.
I know how to use it now. And I'm now, because of you guys, I now use a calendar. I've never used a calendar ever. But I wouldn't know how to build it out like you build them out.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a skill. Took a lot of years to
And
get
patience.
to that.
And patience.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's the accountability piece, I think, is a pretty like under recognized aspect of having one-on-one coaching, because like you just don't want to show up to a coaching call and not have your work done.
Yeah, it's imperative to me. It's not, well, I mean, you want to prove yourself to yourself and to your coach, but you're paying for this, right? It's an investment in yourself, and there's nothing wrong with the cost. It's not about the cost. It's more about you're paying to improve yourself and your business for yourself, your family, and your people. Put in the effort. That's all it is. A lot of people that don't get the success are people that are either not putting in the effort or not asking the right questions and being honest with themselves. Being as honest as you can be and learning from your coach and the peers in the groups is the most important thing to me.
Yeah. And what would you say to someone who's just feeling like maybe it's a little bit expensive? They don't want to put out the money.
Find a way to shave a few bucks and pay for it, man. Like, I mean, it's not expensive. If you put in the work, you will get the outcome. So to me, I call it compound interest. Like, sure, I'm paying some money and I'll be in it for a while, but in the end, 10, 15 years from now, it's still going to be paying me for doing the coaching, right? So it's a relatively short-term cost for a very long-term benefit and gain, right?
Yeah.
You become a better person. I've calmed down a lot. I used to be a little high strung, and sometimes I can be, but it's helped me significantly.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And the last thing is you came to the Mastermind last year, or sorry, this spring.
Yeah.
What was that like for you?
It was good, man. It was great to be around people that are part of the program. It was great to kind of meet Nick, you, Jason Paris, guys you kind of watch, follow, and listen to. You guys are like great white sharks, man. You really know what you're doing. And it's nice to be around and in that environment. Definitely eye-opening. It was a little bit newer at that point, and I felt like I gained a lot of tidbits from everyone, and then just a little bit of self-realization of what I really need to fix.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, hey, it's been impressive to see your journey so far, and I know that you're just getting started. So the rest of this year is going to be exciting to watch, and next year is going to be even more exciting. So stoked to be part of your journey, dude.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'll be around. That's for sure. So
awesome. Well, appreciate you, man. And thanks again, Tony.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks for listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. If you want to grow your painting business, go to www.paintergrowth.com or click on the top link in the description. Talk soon.